So, within the first couple of weeks of having Becky and Olivia, let's say, join the living situation, it was pretty clear that, how do I put this, that they were not as clean as that's how it seemed, because while it was just me, Emma, and Sarah, there hadn't been the problem of like dishes and all of that. There'd not been an issue. So it was just weird that as soon as they came there, it just things just started to go downhill. Like you just could notice that they was not as clean as you would expect. And the one thing that I'm gonna say, if you are thinking of moving in somewhere, is that you have to remember your mind might be that, okay, I am clean, I like things neat and tidy, I want things to be nice and clean, the surfaces wiped down, blah 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 blah. But you have to remember that not everyone is raised in the same household as you, and your values and the way you treat things and the way you treat other people doesn't mean that someone else that you meet is going to do the exact same thing. So that's the culture shock that I got, because I feel like people just think that because you're clean and that because you tidy up and it's nice and lovely, don't mean other people are going to be. And that's something that I've had to learn, which is why I will never ever live with people that I don't know ever again. But getting back to the video. So, yeah, like I said, me, Emma, and Sarah, we started to realise that actually it was only us that was doing any of the cleaning up in the kitchen, like doing our part. Even though there was five of us in there and we were all paying our, our money every term, it seemed like there was only us three doing it. So it's the fact that we all noticed it at once as well. So I was glad that it wasn't just me, because I'm one of them where you would think that when you move in somewhere, especially a communal area, you would think that you would do your best to keep it clean. You would clean up after yourself because you're not a child. You decided to move out, so you're not a child anymore. You've made a grown up decision. So you should be making an attempt to keep it clean, washing your dishes up after yourself, tidying up the side, wiping up the side, the kitchen surfaces, and just leaving things nice and presentable for the next person that needs to use the kitchen, so that when they come, it's all, just nice and it's not disgusting. Um, but yeah, it definitely felt like me and Emma and Sarah were the ones that were cleaning up. I'd noticed that I'd wipe up the kitchen surfaces after me, and then I could come back to find breadcrumbs all over the sides. Now, to some people, breadcrumbs might not be a big thing, but stuff like that can attract disgusting insects and whatever, So, because it's a place of cooking and where I'm preparing my food, I want the surfaces to be clean. And I do feel like you should be at least clean up after yourselves. You're like over 18 now, so you should be looking after your area that you're living in. It's not just yours. You've got four other people living with you. Sorry. If we're talking about them too, then they've got three other people living with them. So they should all be, cleaning up. Everyone should be cleaning up after themselves. You're growing up enough. You should be wiping up after yourself, and you should be leaving it in a state so that we can all live there happy and healthy. Now, me personally, I don't think this is much for me to have to walk into a clean kitchen. I really don't. I think for the fact that a fifth, I'm one out of five that is paying for this. So if I'm paying for this, I should be able to walk into a kitchen that I'm paying for and it be in a nice clean state. Also, the lounge area, it should be in a clean state. It should be. I didn't think this would ever have to be a thing, but here we go. I didn't think it'd have to be a thing where I'd have to think, okay, I'm gonna have to, you know, worry about this. I'm coming here doing uni. That should all I should be stressing about. I shouldn't have to be stressing about how things are just, dirty and unclean and just nasty.
Oh, you nasty.
I think also it was just the fact that whoever wasn't being clean and cleaning up after themselves, it was just the fact that they were just being so selfish and so thoughtless and just not thinking about the other people that were living there. They were acting like they were in their own flat, and that's what really started to get me mad. That it started to get rattle my cage, because it's like, why am I considering how the kitchen looks for when people come in so that they can use their stuff and clean or whatever, and cook and whatever, and Emma's doing the same, and Sarah's doing the same, and then out of them two, whoever it was would come in, make toast. Well, I'll later find out who it is, but you'll find out later in the story. Making toast and just leaving crumbs. Like, it takes 2 seconds to just wipe your crumbs and put them in the bin. But like I say, you have to realize that some people are just born in different households, and people do things different. And yeah, so definitely think about this. It was funny that, like I said, me, Emma, and Sarah noticed that it was us that was doing quite a lot of the tidying up after ourselves and cleaning. And we all messaged the group chat, flat 26, the group chat that we'd made. We all messaged each other, and we were all kind of annoyed at Becky and Olivia, the fact that we'd been there for about 3 weeks. Well, me and Sarah had been there for 3 weeks, but even still, just the fact that we'd been there before Becky and Olivia even got there, and they were already making the place a mess. Like, we'd managed 3 weeks really combined, just us three, to keep the place nice and tidy, and then they rock up, and it's just disgusting. Like, it was just awful, and we weren't really happy about it. Obviously, I was annoyed because I started to notice that there was starting to be a lot of plates that were left at the sink, and they'd be left there for a couple of days, and they'd be left in the sink. Now, okay, on the side, I still don't like it, but I'd rather you do it on the side and keep things out the sink. So at least the sink is accessible for other people to be able to do what they need to do. There was a time I remember when I wanted to boil the kettle so I could boil some water so I could do myself some pasta. And I remember one day I went to get the kettle to fill it up. Now, bear in mind, our sink is very small. It's not like a big, sink. So we only had a small one. And I go to put the kettle in the sink, and the plates were piled up so high that I couldn't even put the kettle in the sink. Now, imagine that. I couldn't even do something as simple as put water in the kettle because someone had piled the plates so high. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how you can think that's okay. Like, I just don't get it. And at this point, nothing had been said. So this is what I mean. The person that was doing this was just making sure that was just doing it for as long as they thought they could get away with it, until someone actually said something, they were going to keep doing it.
So I just thought I'd insert a few pictures for you so you got an idea of what I actually had to deal with. And yeah, this is the real deal. This is literally what I had to live with. It was disgusting.
As soon as I saw all them plates piled up in the sink, I am the type to have like disposable gloves that I travel with. Like, I don't care. Like, you never know when you're gonna need disposable gloves. So at that moment, I knew that I was gonna have to take them plates out of the sink and put them on the side if I wanted to boil the kettle and put some water in the kettle. So I had to run back to my room and get some gloves. Now, I already was not impressed about the fact that I had to do this because they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Or if they were, not to that extent where I couldn't even put the kettle in the sink. But I had to go get some gloves because I'm not being funny. I am not putting my bare hands in that nasty sink. Are you mad? You must be daft. Hell no am I putting my hands in that nasty sink, and who knows what was in that sink. So, and how old the plates were, that, how long they've been in there. I'm sorry, I weren't doing that for nobody. So, yeah, there were times when they'd be there for days, the plates of food. No, not the plates of food. It'd be empty plates, but it'd just be there. It could be that they had chips and the ketchup is still on there from 5 days ago. I'm sorry, I'm not touching that for nobody. You're an adult, you can clean up after yourself. So I had to take them out and I had to put them on the side so that I actually had access to the sink. And I will insert a picture of the nastiness that was in the bottom of the sink right here. So yeah, me, Sarah and Emma started to notice that, you know, that it was starting to get a bit nasty around here, and that, yeah, we were only pulling our weight, and that it'd be that obviously in the kitchen you have a shared bin, in the kitchen, and it was pretty noticeable that it was just us three that'd be emptying the bin, that'd be wiping down the surfaces when we'd used them. If I've got some pictures of the disgusting surfaces, I'll insert them as well at some point in this video. There'd also be times when the bins would just be left, and it'd be very clear that the bin is getting very full, because if you put something in the bin, it would be overflowing. There'd be times when the top would be took off, left on the floor by certain somebody, and then they'd just put it in the bin, and it'd just keep rising and rising and rising. And it's like if you put something in, it'd drop on the floor because it's overflowing, like it needs to be changed. But it'd only seem like me, Emma, and Sarah had the initiatives to be emptying the bin, swapping a bag, and taking it out and putting a new one in. So that started to get really annoying. Um, that really started to really grate on me, because why am I having to do everything? Why is Emma having to do everything in here? We all pay our money. We all pay, the same. So you should be doing your part. I'm not your mom, you know. You chose to live here, so you should be doing your part. It was also quite noticeable that Becky would be treating the lounge area, so the chill out area, like it was her bedroom. There'd be times I'd come into the kitchen and I'd see that her shoes would be there. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong. There was something wrong with it a bit, because it's like, do that in your bedroom. It's a shared area. I'm not saying make the place look like no one lives here, but it's the fact that you come in and you just see that his shoes have just been kicked off any old how. There'd be one over there and there'd be one over there. It just looked messy. And the fact that it wasn't just me that felt like that, and Sarah and Emma felt the same, it was kind of like, yeah, okay, it's not just me. We were kind of just like, she's treating this room like it's her bedroom, and that is a problem. Um, she'd also, like, I'd come in, and like I mentioned earlier on in the video, we have a breakfast bar. So there'd be, I think there were like 5 stools or something like that. There was one for each person. And there'd be times you'd come in and she's just left a coat on one of the stools. Now, some people might not think that's a problem, but for me, it's when the coat's there for like 6 days, and it's like, okay, you probably took it off when you came in from uni and you just chucked it there. Okay, fair enough. But it's the fact that you're treating it like it's your bedroom and you're just leaving the coat there. There'd be all sorts that she'd leave in the kitchen, just like, I'm not saying, like I say, I'm not saying it like it was, she couldn't, but at the same time, uh, she'd be leaving like her perfume in there that she used, and sometimes she used to drink water and whatever. So there'd be times there'd be a bottle of water on the little table that'd be in front of the sofa, so in case you want to rest your plate on there or whatever. Um, there'd be times that she'd leave the bottle there, and I'd be like, okay, she's left it there, she's forgot it. But then it could be there for weeks. She used to have these 2 litre bottles of, we'll say, if I say Evian, then everyone will know what I mean. But 2 litre big massive bottles. There'd be times where she'd be leaving that there for about 2 weeks, and it just been there, and it just looks so untidy and just, clean up after yourself. You grow. It got to the point where the kitchen and the lounge area was just such a state that I didn't feel like I wanted to be in there anymore. I'd literally walk in there to prepare my food and walk right back out because I'd be spending the majority of my time in my room. For mainly spent time in Sarah's room or Emma's room. We never spent time in my room. I don't know why. I just think it became a thing for us to spend time in Sarah's room, but mainly it came that we would spend a lot of time in Emma's room because that was just the place to chill. We just used to go in there. She had a speaker in there, so we'd just put tunes on and just chill and have snacks and whatever and have film nights. So it was, yeah, it became, that we did chill in, Emma's room a lot. Now, the people that know me personally know that I'm not being big headed. I'm just, the people that know me know that I'm one of the nicest people ever, and that, you know, I'm not the type of intimidating person. I'm really nice. I'm respectful. I'm never the type to be wanting to hurt someone's feelings. I may be honest, but I'm never so mean to hurt someone's feelings that they feel so rubbish about themselves. But there comes a point where I feel like someone needs to be made aware of their actions and what we're doing and how it's affecting everyone's mental health and well-being. Because if nothing's left unsaid, then they can just keep doing what they're doing, and then it'll be me and the other people that were suffering too. So, for me, it got to a point where it was like, yeah, you know, something kind of needs to be said. I don't know how, but this person needs to be made aware of their actions and fast, because I'm not about to feel like I can't go in and out of my own kitchen and lounge area that I'm paying a fifth of. I'm paying my money, so I should be able to go in there and feel comfortable to be in there and not feeling like I need to run out because it's disgusting or, whatever. I should feel comfortable in that area, knowing I can walk in there if I feel like it. I can go and watch TV in there if I feel like it and not feel any kind of way about it. And the thing about this as well is that it was affecting me day to day, because it wasn't just like, oh, it happened one day and whatever. It was a reoccurring thing that would be happening for ages. And you'd give them, give them chance to kind of sort themselves out or whatever. But this kept happening and happening and happening. And I thought, no, something needs to be done now. I remember one time, I think we may have been chilling in Emma's room, and me, Sarah, and Emma were like, yeah, it's getting to the point now where we feel like we can't be comfortable in our own living space and kitchen area. And we were discussing like ideas of what to do. Me personally, I just wanted to have it out with them and kind of be like, hey, like, can we like, talk about this, because this is getting ridiculous now. But let's just say Emma and Sarah were not the confrontational type. Even if it weren't like, it's not even like it would have been intimidating. It would have just been, to make a point like, hey, let's all be mindful of, each other and what's going on. But they were the type, especially Sarah, more Sarah, was type to, oh, let's be nice and let's tiptoe around them and, you know, let's let them do whatever they want kind of thing. Because that's kind of what but anyway. So I wanted to, speak to them and kind of confront the issue and get it out there. But like I say, them two weren't the confrontational type. So they both came up with the idea of, oh, why don't we write a letter? I thought, okay, at least then we won't be saying it face to face, and at least they won't think we'd be intimidating or whatever. So We all in the lounge area, and we kind of just thought of ideas of what to put on this letter and how we'd write it. So we all kind of brainstormed together about how we'd write it so it didn't sound so, like bitchy, because we didn't want to come across like that at all. We just wanted to get our point across in a way that was understood and our feelings were heard, and um, we all kind of said what we needed to say in this letter. It's not like we were rude. Like I said, we were very respectful. Um, in fact, I think we was too nice in my letter, like I say, because I wrote what I wrote, and then I remember whoever it was, I think it was Sarah, was kind of like, "Oh no, how about you say it like this?" Um, like I say, to make it sound like we're friends when we're not friends, because at this point they'd not made an effort really to kind of get any closer to us, because them two were or a pair already, and we were a trio, so they'd already kind of made it so that we couldn't all kind of get on, kind of thing. It would be made. We had our clique and they had theirs, and that was that. But I weren't about to act like we were best friends either. So I'm going to leave the story there for now because I'm realizing that this story is going to be very long. So I'm going to have to do a part three. But like, comment, and subscribe. Uh, Let me know what you think of it so far. Um, if you can relate, if you've ever had this so far, you can relate to what's going on. And I will see you in part three. Bye.